I'm going to show you how I took pizza box and made something really beautiful. So today we're going to start with this pizza box. I wanted to do a challenge and use things that I already had at home, and I had this pizza box. I don't know what I'm going to make, so the both of us would see what we're going to create together. I'll first start by opening the pizza box to see what we have to work with. I'll keep these pieces, we may use them later. The next thing I'll do is cover them with mirror reflective paper. To put on our reflective paper, we'll peel a little piece, line up our edges, and we'll peel as we go along. That would give us the simplest and easiest way to put on our reflective paper onto anything that we want to do. And a link for all of the materials would be listed in the description down below. So I took it outside and I spray paint the back with a black Rust-Oleum spray paint. Just in case we see the back, I didn't want the back to be a cardboard color. I want to make a design that would maximize the most amount of board possible because we don't have that much to work with. We line up the edges, press the center together to find the middle. I'll use the entire thing. All I'll do is round off one of the edges and curve one of the sides. I want something to differentiate the top from the bottom and also make it a little bit interesting without wasting too much of the cardboard. That's our main goal when we only have a little bit to work with. And this is basically all we'll be cutting out from the sides. We want to keep as much as we can so that we have as much as we can to work with. And this is what we have so far. Now I want to get the same thickness going all the way through. And depending on the thickness that you want to get, what I'm going to do, I'm going to tape 4 pencils together and that would give me the thickness that I want. Now I have one pencil with the tip broken and one pencil with the tip that's going to draw. And the other 2 pencils, I'll have them further in so that they won't be in the way. I only want one pencil to be marking on the design. We'll have the pencil without the tip riding along the edge and the pencil with the tip drawing the line as we go along. Now we'll cut out the line that we drew and we'll keep repeating the process until we don't have that much more to work with. At this point I find that here is too pointy and I want it to match the rest of the pieces, so I'm going to round this off a little bit before I continue. Just taking off this little piece definitely helped the consistency. Once we have as much pieces as we could cut out from one cardboard, we'll use these pieces to cut out the other cardboard. I'm doing this with you guys, so let's start arranging the pieces and see what we could come up with, because this is what we have to work with. I picked up this 13-inch mirror from Hobby Lobby and this is what I'll use to create the design. I'll start by placing the bigger pieces and see what we could come up with. I'll start placing the smaller pieces and graduate back up to the bigger piece. I'll use them on corresponding sides since we only have 2 of each. Wow, these pieces are overlapping greatly. So what I would do is cut it in between here and we would interlock them together and that would give it much more of an interest. I'm overlapping the pieces just by taking the bigger side and placing it underneath the smaller piece. Once we overlap the pieces, we'll continue adjusting the pieces until it looks the way we like. Once we're happy with the placement, we could glue the design onto the mirror. I'm starting out by putting little drops of glue just to keep it in place until we could reinforce it. We'll continue the same thing on the other side and then we'll come back. I want the pieces to have much more of a 3D look, so all we'll do is put some glue in between here, hold it together for a little while and let it dry. We'll do this for all of the pieces except the small piece. In order for the pieces to stay upright, I spray painted some 12-inch skewers and I'll use these to reinforce the pieces. For the skewers that's not long enough, I'll use these black zip ties to keep them together. I got this variety pack of zip ties from on Amazon and I'll leave the link for this and all the materials in the description down below. We'll continue gluing on the skewers to reinforce all of the pieces and then we'll come back. And to cover up the skewers, I'll be using this flower mesh shape wrap that I picked up from on Amazon. We'll cut some rows like this and we'll use these to cover up the skewers. We'll continue this for all the rest of them and then we'll come back. The spaces in between here seem a bit empty, so I'm going to fill them in with the flower mesh shape wrap. We're going to fill them in a leaf pattern. We'll do one, do the other one and come back to the first one to give the glue time enough to dry. If we have some of the leaves interwoven with each other, we'll pass the mesh shape wrap underneath those so that it looks like it blends, just as we did the interweaving. So I'll pass this under here and stick it behind. You could keep playing around with the placement and see which you like best. We'll continue filling in the spaces and then we'll come back. Now that we are done filling in the spaces, I want to take these mini spoons and these larger spoons from the Dollar Tree. I'll take the handles and I want to fill in these areas here. I want to bring the silver from the edges into the middle so it looks like one cohesive piece. We'll take the spoons and break off the top because we'll only be using the handles. We'll mainly be using the mini spoons, but we'll use the bigger handles to go in these areas that has the bigger spaces. We'll turn the mirror to the back so we could glue on the handles of the spoons. We'll turn the smooth part of the spoon this way so that it would be facing the outside of the mirror. We'll use the trimmer to cut the handles at an angle. That will help it stay in place the way that we need it. We'll hold it for a while until it's dried. To make sure the handles stay in place, I'll be using one of these flowers to sandwich the spoon together. And we want to make sure that the shiny side of the flowers is showing to the front. Just in case it shows to the front of the mirror, we want to make sure it's the shiny side. We'll be using the smaller spoon handles in these areas here. We'll continue doing this for the rest of the pieces and filling in any areas and then we'll come back. Now that I'm finished filling in all the spaces with the handles, I'm going to take this round cardboard that I got from inside of the pizza box and I'll glue this to the back of the mirror. We'll put the glue on the skewers and on the middle part of the mirror to keep the cardboard in place. And to hang it on the wall, I'm using this thick crochet thread. And I cut a piece of it and I tied a bunch of knots, and this is how I'm going to hang it on the wall. I'm going to do 2 hooks because I want to hang it in either direction. Now we're going to clean off the mirror, hang it on the wall and see how it looks. This is the way it looks hanging up on the wall. I absolutely love the way that it came out. And to believe we took pizza box and turned it into something so beautiful. All I could say is all praise to the Most High God. Thank you, Heavenly Father. I've done quite a few videos on the channel, and this, I have to say, is one of my favorites. Every time I pass by, I love the asymmetrical shape of this mirror. Now, I would not have had that if I didn't use the pizza box and had those limitations. So if this is something that you like and is something that you'd like to try out, you know, I'd love to hear from you in the comment section down below. And if you like this video, you may also like these that are coming up next. See you in the next one.